Hey everyone, it is the Tesla owners of Silicon Valley with San Joaquin Valley and NorCal Reno. We are collaborating today to really talk to the experts who get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of electric vehicle repair. So EVs Republic, they are based out of Sacramento, and they actually may have, maybe we can get into this a little bit more about potentially some of their expansion down to the Bay Area. But these guys are the experts. They have done upgrades from 75D to 100D or 75D to 90D. We'll get into all of that. We'll talk to them about the most common things that you'll see electric vehicles will have, specifically Teslas. And we have a bunch of other questions we'll get into. So let's bring in first Ilya. How's it going? Co-founder
of EVs
Republic. Good to meet you. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, we've met before, but thanks for joining us. And then we have a service advisor, Vitaly. What's going on? How's it going?
Good to be here.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. But yeah, we would love either Ilya or Vitaly, just give us a brief. What does EVs Republic do? How long have you been around? Why did you start EVs Republic?
Right. To start our conversation, I have prepared Tesla takeover.
There was a big announcement today.
Yeah, if you are watching this podcast, don't miss the Tesla takeover. So basically, I'm one of the co-founders of the EVs Republic, and in 2016 we have started our journey in EV world, and we was the US. The pioneers who start to figure out how does the Tesla works and how to fix Tesla and how to repair, restore, and do any kind of manipulations with Tesla. So begins our journey in 2016. Yeah. So here we have some question list, right? You have prepared for us?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I thought didn't realize you were. But yeah. So let's just get into it. What are the most common problems that you see coming through your shop? What's like the number 1, 2, or 3 things that you guys see coming through your shop?
Yeah, the Vitaly service advisor. He's every day working with it. Let's the question for him.
Okay, so the number 1 problem is going to be high voltage batteries and drive units. We do have occasional issues, people coming in for like door handles, charge port inlets, onboard chargers, DC-DC converters. But by far the most common failure we're seeing is high voltage batteries and drive units.
And I want to add that basically, so one of our main goals of this podcast, we want to share our expertise and help people to prevent unexpected expenses with Tesla. And that's a very important podcast for especially Tesla future owners because we had a lot of experience that people purchased the cars and they didn't get those pre-purchase inspections. So why we want to try to make everything is possible to people avoid these mistakes. And these 2 mistakes that Vitaly mentioned, high voltage batteries and drive units, are really expensive, and sometimes the cost of it could be around, like, if you combine those 2 services, it could be around $15,000 for the older Model S, which is kind of expensive. I want to tell you one story. Like, if you remember, like a few years ago when the gas prices was skyrocket, or 1 year ago, it was the period where the prices get up. So we have very interesting trend on the market that people, they starting sell their gas cars, and they trying to purchase the new Teslas, not the new, used Teslas. And they usually like to purchase older Tesla 2012, 2014, because the focus was to purchase the car with a free supercharger, right? People just that was the reason why they want to step into that and into the choice, and we've got like And the main problem, the people, they don't have that money, right? They sold their old car, the gas car, for let's say $6,000 to $10,000, and the rest of amount they should take additional responsibilities with the credit unions or banks, whatever. And people give their last money into the purchasing Tesla, and they didn't do that inspections, which is super, in my opinion, important for the used Tesla. And we got like in that time, we got the wave of repairs that those people, without inspection, they bring car to service with battery and drive unit failure. And that was a huge problem. And that was the day when we really decided to develop that purchase inspection. And our number one recommendation, I would say, every time if you purchase Tesla, used Tesla, you have to invest though like $700 to make the deep diagnostic of your Tesla, but not just I don't know, just to trust anyone or just ask the dealer who was the previous driver. It doesn't matter, who was the previous driver. It doesn't matter how the car was maintained, how the battery was maintained, and all the other things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I love that, because actually I'm learning something new, because for the past 2 Teslas that I've had, they've been pretty much brand new. And so I think, as we're going, for me, I owned ICE cars obviously before this. So even buying a used Tesla, it's kind of uncharted territories for me. So I think knowing that you have to get diagnostics, deep dive testing, it's worth it, especially in the future. One quick question as a follow-up to, the issues with the battery and the drivetrain. What are the major reasons for those to go out? And then how much does it cost to repair?
Yeah, Vitaly.
Okay. So if the high voltage battery dies, cost to repair can range anywhere from, I would say, about 6.5 all the way up to about 15, depending on what size of battery you want to go with. We offer repairs. Your vehicle would have to qualify for repairs, so we would first make sure that your battery is going to last you if we repair it. If that's not the case, then we would just opt to replace it. And then we also offer upgrades all the way up from 60 all the way up to 100 kilowatt. The main cause of failures on these batteries is going to be supercharging. So if you exclusively supercharge these vehicles, the battery, although it works, it doesn't like it. You're pumping a lot of amperage into the batteries. It's getting hot. Sometimes what happens is the louvers, they fail. Louvers are mechanical vents in the front bumper that open and close to control the temperature. And if those are malfunctioning, your battery is going to be overheating, and then it's going to be degrading a lot quicker than normal. We see on these cars about a 10-year lifespan on the battery, sometimes more, just depends on if you supercharge exclusively or if you charge at home. And then that's maintenance that a lot of people are unaware is about the louvers. And the louvers, you're not going to get any warning lights. The car's not going to tell you that they're not working. They're hidden pretty much and only accessible if we do diagnostics. And then you had another question. Was it about drive units? Oh, the cause of failure for the drive units.
And then what was the repair cost on like a typical battery?
Typical battery. So repair cost, if it's refurbishable, is going to be between $6,500 to $7,500.
Perfect.
The drive units, they're failing because of coolant intrusion, and that happens because they have a design flaw. They're cooled using the same coolant that's in the high voltage battery, and they start to leak internally, and then they start corroding. And then basically they seize up, or they corrode to the point where they start short circuiting inside, and then you have to replace the drive unit. It's not savable. We do currently, we're offering rebuilding the drive unit before it fails, so we can check it and make sure check the condition, see if we have a coolant leak, and then we can extend the life of the drive units. Typically, this service costs about $3,500.
Yeah. Also, I would add that we are starting to refurbishing drive units, and sometimes for people we can help them to save around $3,000 if they start maintain the drive unit in the right time. So, for example, we suggest like every yearly inspection they do for the car, we just we just can check the drive unit. We can check the bearing condition, which like it's not, we cannot see it. We can just hear it with the tools, the bearing condition. And in this case, sometimes for people, it's much better to make the maintenance that cost 3,500 because we replace that sealing and we replace all the bearings. So to avoid that problem Vitalis just explained.
Okay, so now we've discussed the problems you had with the vehicle. We've discussed the repairability and maintenance and things like that. So thinking about the maintenance of the vehicle and how you should try to like stay on top of it. You already said it's like good for about 10 years, but you recommend a yearly inspection on the drive unit. So compared to like a gas vehicle, what's the yearly cost? Is it better or less as compared to like owning a gas vehicle? Because I know you had the oil changes and regularly scheduled maintenance, but you don't really have that typically with EVs. Like, so what are you suggesting? What does it look like, the cost?
As far as maintenance goes with these cars, general inspection will tell us if there's anything wrong with the cooling system. And then with the drive units, we recommend gear flush every 50,000 miles. And that basically ensures that the production gear doesn't wear prematurely. And then the drive unit, if it is starting to leak internally, it's going to be 3,500 to service. It's hard to say when they're going to fail. If you catch the leak early, you can save it and potentially save yourself from spending anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000.
Well, I think 50,000 is a good marker. So you get an EV and you would like to think that they last longer than ICE vehicles, whereas you're with the gas vehicle, you got an every 3,000 to 5,000 oil change, and you know what I mean, and you got to change the oil on your transmission and things like that. So knowing that you're good for 50,000 or every 50,000 miles, you guys recommend a service. I mean, that still puts you cheaper than on the gas vehicle front. So that's not bad.
Yeah, that's 100%, because there is, like everyone knows, that there is a lot less moving parts, especially with the engines, with the gas engines. And also, basically, what I would say in general, there is only two differences. It's a drive unit and battery, and just a regular gas car, they have just the engine. So I would say that all rest parts, like chassis, whatever, suspension, electrical components, okay, they are a little bit working different way, different technology, not connected to the kind of pumps that came from the engine, but it's still pretty similar, right? And especially if you look at the newest Teslas, newest drive units, they not so much have problems with the drive units. So that basically we don't service them a lot. Yeah, we had just a few, and it wasn't like internal problem. It was more some internal problem after damage, collision, whatever, you know.
No, okay.
So I would say, like in newest Teslas, they are very durable in this case, and also the same is regarding batteries. So we start getting more newer car batteries for repair, but also there is a lot of cars more than after accident or collision repairs that get some battery physical damage or
So for the real quick, because right now we're entering a phase where Tesla's been around for over a decade. So all these older S's and older Model X's are going to start coming up for sale, and they're going to be really cheap because now the new Model X and S's and the new Model 3 are out, right? So people are going to want to upgrade. So looking at that, like they come to you, they get an inspection, it's like less than $1,000, and you guys say, man, you got a good deal, great. But they come to you and they're like, it's not a good deal, I wouldn't buy it or whatever. Then you save that person probably like $3,500 or whatever on just a drive unit, let's say $6,500 on the battery if they had to replace it. But I like the fact that that there is an area for people that are gonna go out and buy like that cheap $12,000 2012 Model S. You know what I mean? Probably less now, but they get that and they can come and fix it for like, even if they spent like 3 to 5,000, they still got themselves a Tesla for 17 that's going to be last a lot longer than the gas powered equivalent. So I think what you guys doing, like just on that regard, before we get into more questions, is such a good service for the community in that regard, for the sales, the service, the repair, and just keeping the lifespan of these vehicles going, you know what I mean, for future owners, because the used car market is going to be huge as we start to delve into like people getting rid of their Model 3s to get a Cybertruck and things like that. It's going to be pretty wild. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
You see, yeah, thanks, Joe. In this case, I won't mention the extended warranties. That's one of the another options we provide for the market and for the Tesla community. And that's the option. It's really important in this case, what you are talking about right now, because, for example, when we got those people with the expensive repairs, if you remember, I told about them in the beginning of our podcast, who purchased like the Teslas on the last money with the big credits, and they got those $15,000 repairs, and the price of car itself was about 25,000. Where do they can get those additional 15,000 for the repair? And that was the point where we understand as a company and trying to helping Tesla community, we have developed Tesla extended warranty. So basically that's the good solution for people. And the price of extended warranty, it depends of the time frame, 2-3 years, whatever. We don't provide like a huge plans for older cars, but there still is option that can people prevent themselves from unexpected expenses. Yeah, so if you guys, some of you are interested in a Tesla extended warranty, you can visit our website, check for pricing, for options. That's a really, really nice option we have from the EVs Republic. And this option is required us to expand for the more locations. Yeah, so that's why we are expanding to the Silicon Valley right now.
So modded Teslas are good to go. That's awesome. Well, I mean, because people mod their cars a lot, so you know, what I mean, they don't want to come in with you know, freaking Mountain Pass performance parts and think that they can't get service on their suspension. So that's awesome.
One question that I have yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just want to say regarding the extended warranty, we still have pre-warranty inspection process. So we still get the car and we check the real status of the battery. We check the remaining battery capacity. We check the braking balance. We check the drive unit condition. We trying to check for noises, like we making chassis inspection. We inspect the car before we decide that are this car qualified for warranty or not. Yeah.
One question I would have, so you have a lot of new owners that are starting, especially like Model 3 owners who got their cars back in 2017, 2018, who are potentially coming up on their new car manufacturing warranty that's about to expire. But before they end, I mean, this is not necessarily something related to potentially something you could help potentially, or maybe it is. But what are the type of questions that they can even ask Tesla before their warranty is about to end about their drivetrain, about their battery? Is there any diagnostics type of test that they can even pay out of pocket? Because if I know like I'm at, again, 45,000 miles, I would not mind paying $8,000 before my warranty's out to get Tesla to come and just check and just, do the thing. But a lot of times, again, in this electric vehicle space, I mean, there's very few experts like yourselves that can really help out owners and do that. So I don't know, is there anything before the warranty goes out that new owners can ask Tesla, or a test that they can have run by Tesla to just make sure that they're good before the warranty's over, or not?
I would have them check the overall capacity of the battery and the imbalance. I don't know if that's something that they do. From what I heard from other customers, is that Tesla, for the battery to be considered faulty, has to be below 70% capacity. So that's something we can check for you if you stop by here. But whether or not Tesla is going to approve a replacement battery if it falls below 70%, that's up to them. We know that these cars start throwing fault codes usually below 70%, and they also, if there's an imbalance that's greater than like 15 millivolts, you'll also see fault codes. So we can check that. Sometimes the car will start having that imbalance but not throw any error codes, but we can, if customers stop by here, we can definitely check that out.
Definitely. And then sorry, Joe, were you gonna say something?
No, I think that's pretty cool. I was just gonna comment on the preemptive battery management system, that they can just check that before it even starts throwing the fault codes. You know, you have that option to where they can do that. But yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, I kind of do, but like Tesla isn't just going to check anything you want them to check before your warranty's up. Because I know exactly what you're doing. Like, you can't just be like, hey, fix everything just in case. You know what I mean? Because I'm at the end of my warranty. But I mean, it's a good question, though.
One of the follow-up questions I would have are, what are the most challenging aspects of repairing an electric vehicle? So, because this is a new space, and you guys are seeing it because it's literally obviously in your shop. You have a bunch of cars coming through your shop every day. But what are the most challenging aspects of repairing it?
The most challenging for our techs is probably going to be for our programming team, is to develop software. So that way we can do everything and more that Tesla can do. So when we do battery upgrades, we actually program the car so that it sees that it's got a bigger battery. We recalibrate the battery so the range is accurate. Also, like when we do matrix headlight upgrades of Model 3s and Ys, we basically change the configuration in the vehicle. And that's the biggest challenge for us, is designing our own tools to be able to diagnose and complete repairs successfully. We developed a high voltage battery live bench test where it shows us the voltage data on the battery before we install it, so we can see and make sure that everything is working as it should be before it goes into the vehicle.
Yeah, it's like a small car simulator. Then it's just a screen, and the all wiring is connected to the main Tesla computer that can that help us to diagnose the battery before the installation, and the car needs to be inside a shop, and that's making our repair process much easier and faster. That we can just
right, so we don't have to. Yeah, so we don't have to install the battery twice in case there's any issues. We can check everything beforehand and before the actual labor. So we have a special bench device that the battery gets connected to the vehicle without actually being installed, and then we can read all the data off of it before it gets bolted into the car.
Yeah, the setup of your guys's, the whole area is like super nice. We had an event where you guys went through that for the members, and for them to see the benches and see the batteries and see that you guys can do all of that, I think it was pretty eye-opening for them, for one, to know that it's possible, that they're not stuck, they're not beholden to Tesla, and that once their warranty's up, they don't have no place else to go. So I think that's amazing. So do you have a follow-up? Oh, that's somebody else.
Yeah, I just want to I just want to add that, like, so the every day at EVs repairs, it's like a new day for us. We are taking every day new challenges. Like every time new things are popped up, like unusual solutions, every time is coming something new, and that's why we are like kids. You know, we are every day are developing ourselves, trying to figure out how work that, how work this. Every time they get newer models, newer car, and I mean, like latest gear of production. and every car have a different solutions, as you know. Like for example, older Tesla Model S and Model X are totally different technology than Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, and that's the two very different cars from like different universes, you know. And that's taken more time to figure out, and we spend a lot of time to the reverse engineering to understand how to things work, and that's the big challenge, especially for our engineers.
So that's interesting you say that, because thinking about how Tesla operates, right? Tesla's always innovating and always going forward with things. So now that's a problem, or a challenge, I should say, for EV repair, is now you have to change your repair processes for electric vehicles for each model based on how they operate. Whereas like with a gas powered car, you know, you're going to have the transmission, you know, you're going to have like, you know what I mean, like there's going to be the block, and you know what I mean, and you're dealing with those simple things, you know what I mean, like it's like it's going to be this or it's going to be that. But with Tesla, it's always innovating. So can you speak to how the repair process is different for electric vehicles versus like gas powered vehicles, like how that works for you guys?
Yeah, that's very different. I think that Vitaly can give you more details about it.
So with the batteries on the Model 3s and Ys compared to the Model S, they have they actually have less modules. They're just a lot larger in size. So, I mean, Model 3 failures haven't it's not like huge demand right now, but we are seeing them coming in. Some of the most common things we're seeing on the Model 3 is there's a coolant fitting that it's right in the undercarriage where everybody seems to be hitting something on the road coming in. And then basically that coolant fitting is internal in the battery. So to fix it properly, you got to split the battery, replace the fitting, and then seal it all back together. And those parts are not readily available from Tesla. So we don't have a choice. We have to use dismantled parts. But they are known good parts, and you can save quite a bit of money. So that service, I believe, runs for about $3,000 to $4,000, and then Tesla would have to replace the entire pack. So save you quite a bit of money there if that's what happens with your car. But as far as repairing them, basically we're always developing new tools, and we're experimenting every day, so that way we can save customers money.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would say the next question that I would have is like, you know, obviously in some ways you're in uncharted territories. I mean, you know, electric vehicles, I would say really have hit mass production, obviously with the Model 3, which literally was only, what is it, 7 years ago. And so obviously we know the way and rate that Tesla's innovating. Obviously it sounds like they're always keeping you on your toes. But as far as parts go, obviously with gas cars, this industry has been around for decades. And so parts are probably quickly available. But what is the availability on your parts? Are you having issues with that now? Is there a specific type of model like the S, X, or the 3 or the Y that you're having issues getting parts on, or has that been pretty easy for you to get?
It's hit and miss. It really depends which model. Like on the Model 3s and Ys, we had a lot of collisions because they're mass-produced car. There's a lot of people that get in accidents. We're having sometimes there's shortage supply of body parts. So we've had cases where customers had opted to use used parts, understanding that they're equal or pretty close to the quality of new parts. For collision, and that saves. I mean, we've heard stories where customers got quoted, they got to wait a year to get their Model 3 fixed because there's a shortage of a fender, and if they authorize used parts, we can literally get the job done in less than a month. So, but let's see, with as far as getting parts from Tesla, we don't really have a problem. Their distribution center is, in Fremont, I believe, and that's where all their parts ship from. So our stock comes in once a week. It's about a week out for us to receive parts. So,
Well, I know from experience because my drive unit went out last year at the at the zero run for Vegas that we did with SoCal. It's a true story. So this is what happened. So I didn't know until I called Vitaly. He knew right away. Oh, it sounds like the drive unit. So we had to have it towed back to EVs Republic from Vegas. But the crazy thing is that I had called Tesla, and they were like, "Well, if it is the drive unit, then we'll go ahead and give you a new one." And so when I asked the guys, like, "Well, is it new or is it a refurbished one?" And I have a 2013 Model S, so that they were like, "Oh no, it's a used part." I was like, "You would charge me the full price of a new part for a used part?" And so I was like, "Yeah, no, thank you. EVs Republic has got it." So like that was that saved me like a few grand right there, and that was pretty awesome. So
what else was interesting, I think, with your car is your efficiency went up after you replaced the unit by quite a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I got way better range efficiency with the new unit. So you don't even think things you don't even think about.
Yeah, but also sometimes we, for some cases, we import also parts from other countries. So we just taking care. And the next step, what we are working on right now. So we need. So our business and our processes is set it up. We are today really ready for the expansion, and of course we are open for different kind of collaborations. We are looking for investors right now also. That's one of our main goal, because our plan is developing our own shops, and also we are working on the franchising development too. And one of our biggest goal is open like 300 or 500 locations across the United States. That's our big journey, and we understand that we also need our logistics center the parts came from, and we can supply all the chain of the services from the one service. And in this case, we need to find a solution, and we already use them, to just import parts from different countries, because like there is still solutions outside the United States.
That's pretty awesome, because I've seen you guys' parts bin, and it's like, man. Well, I mean, if you imagine, I imagine it's going to be kind of crazy, especially all the mods that people are doing. Like they take the batteries, and I know you guys were having a crazy sale like last year for just batteries for people who are putting them into other vehicles just so they can change it. I know a guy who has a 65 Challenger that he did that with. So that's pretty awesome that you guys even are thinking about the future of your parts bin. So now you're dealing with all these batteries. You have all these parts. You have all these things. How do you guys keep everything safe? You know what I mean? What are your precautions for dealing with these high voltage batteries and safety at your places?
So with lithium batteries, fire is not uncommon. I'm sure you guys seen stories all the time. Right now, we're working on installing a specialized fireproof blanket system in the shop that is easily accessible with any of the technicians. If anything happens, they can throw a blanket over the battery. And then also we take all the precautions necessary. We have gloves that expire every 6 months. We've got special safety equipment in case someone does accidentally touch a high voltage battery. And then also the area gets isolated when they're disassembling. So only known personnel can work on the batteries.
Nice.
One question I have. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to add just the really like biggest problem. There is two things. The first thing is like people safety and health, and the other problem is ignition of battery. That's the two problems we have to always thinking about, and both of these problems can make very bad consequences, if we had any issue with this.
Yeah. I'm not going to name names here, but there's been a company specifically that has, I think, had I'll just put roadsters essentially go on fire. How common is it to get a fire in like a shop in general? Because again, with gas cars, obviously it's an internal combustion engine, but is this a fairly common thing, or is this like something that pretty much rarely ever happens, or is this something you guys are taking precautions even before you leave at night to make sure you're leaving, certain things are shut down so you don't come back in the morning to a burnt down shop?
The main cause of thermal runaway is going to be overcharging a battery that doesn't want to take a charge. So, I mean, it's not that it's if a technician is not properly trained and he keeps trying to put power towards something that doesn't want to take power, that's when the problems start happening. So, and our technicians are trained to pay attention to those kind of things. And then we're only, when we're balancing batteries and everything, we can see how much amps are being pulled. We can tell if the battery's doesn't want to take the charge. So all the precautions are taken.
But anyway, once we had fire, but that was only 12-volt battery. It's so fast. It's ignite. Just
yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
it happens in a blink of an eye.
But even consequences of the 12-volt battery was like good enough, because like all the area, all the room, the ceiling was the black, and also from the fire extinguisher some mess around, and we are not even able to imagine what the consequences will be.
Oh my god, yeah, huge
ignite.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a quick follow-up question, because you guys were talking earlier about degradation and also out of balance for batteries. This is a question from the audience, and I figure I would ask it before we get on to the next thing. What's the difference between degradation versus out of balance?
Degradation just means your capacity of your battery is diminished. So instead of, you have a battery's rated an amp hour. So instead of you having 85 kilowatts, you only have 50 kilowatts available. That's degradation. Imbalance is basically just the difference between each individual module. So on an 85 kilowatt, there's more than 14 modules. And if there's the computer can see what the difference is in voltages between those cells. If you have one module that's degraded more than the others, then you start getting an imbalance. And when you get an imbalance, the car it's not charging each cell evenly. And when that happens, it can accidentally overcharge one of the modules. And that's why the car goes into a limp mode once there's over a certain amount of imbalance. So basically it's just preventing a hazard and limiting your charging. Once you get that, then we either have to replace that module or we have to isolate it and repair it.
Got it.
One question I have is, obviously electric vehicles are the future. California, we know 2035, you're not going to be able to buy gas cars, but how is, the Model Y is now the best selling vehicle, not even just electric vehicle in the world. So how has, the growth of electric vehicles impacted your business? And you could even potentially talk a little bit about, your guys' future as well.
So at the rate that Tesla's, as Tesla sales increase and there's more Teslas around the road, we're getting more customers and more customers coming in. So basically the sales trend of Tesla is we're following that along on the service side equally. And the only way we can adapt is just to keep developing our repair process and providing solutions that Tesla doesn't offer. That way we can be competitive on the market.
I just was reading comments yeah, cool stuff. I just now figure out how they work. I just see them first time, and some of them are pretty funny.
Sorry, were you
Yes.
gonna say something? Follow up on something?
Yeah, I mean, like for us to expand and provide service because guys, we feel a huge feedback from the community, because if you like read information about our company, and if you ask people who had experience with our company, they are really satisfied with services, options, with the client's customer service we provide them, and we understand that this is the values we have to expand and bring in more locations. But there is many different moving parts to set up to provide our services in different cities, states, and all the like expansion models we need to develop right now. It's not easy because the technology is still I would say it's not easy technology to duplicate or do whatever, because it's like hard, especially our IT department. If we will have more locations, that's going to be our IT department will be more loaded with additional job, and for us it's very hard to multiply those professionals, because here I can see the question regarding how do we train new personnel, and sometimes that's really challenging for us, because in many cases there is you can always choose between any professionals like electricians with experience in the gas cars, or you need to find just a regular electricians and try to teach them how to Tesla works. In both cases are the same scenario, because the people who working on the gas cars, the technology, the electrical stuff is a little bit different, and we have to reteach them how to adapt like a new technologies. And sometimes for us it's much easier to train someone who do not have any experience with the cars at all. But it's anyway, it's very costly procedure to train new guy. We did our math, and for us it cost to train one engineer, it cost about $100,000. That includes their salary, that includes the time while they learning. They didn't bring any value at that time for the company, and the most important thing, they usually broke couple of batteries, couple of MCUs, computers, and the
Make
pool.
mistakes.
Yeah. Like combined value, is about $100,000 in a 6 months. So that's pretty challenging, and that's why we put a lot of attention and do very like deeply research for the new employees who we more checking for the personal stuff, not the professional, but for the personal, because we understand that if we someone taken in our team, we have to take care about this person, and we need to move forward like in the long term, because that's the kind of costly investment in the employees. Yeah, and all this is like stopping us to expand faster, because there is a lack of professional on the market. Yeah.
One question I had, it's kind of related to that. Well, not quite, but as obviously you guys are in this uncharted territory and you're expanding, or as electric vehicles more and more are going on the road, like, are you guys having to ramp or even preemptively ramp or get ready technicians for this growth? Or how are you guys preparing for the continued growth in the EV space?
That's a very good question. So we have some thoughts about this. So right now, we are working with the franchising development and the EV Academy, right? I said right? Academy, like a school academy.
Academia.
It's going to be the part of that franchising. So we planning to develop our personal school that we can invite people and learn EV repair and teach them EV repairs. And because we trying to taking care in our franchising, let's just imagine if the franchisee, they purchase franchising and they have a lack of engineers, so it's not going to be good for them. So, and our mission will be to fill that field with experienced engineers and technicians.
So it's just you just need more people to know how to do the work so that you can have more people to do the work.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And of course, the other thing, it's like I would say there is like different parts of people. There is IT specialists, engineers, electricians, technicians. These people are all from different departments,
Right.
and so each department needs to be set it up right way with different knowledge, different instructions. Yeah, so a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty wild to think that. I mean, ultimately, you guys are the pioneers. I mean, there's obviously, other people out there probably starting up EV repairs, but really the reality is you need to also train up the next generation of technicians. And I'm surprised that there's actually not more. I mean, to be frank, there's probably, I think Kelvin has maybe mentioned like one other company in the Bay Area, but really, they're like, you guys are the experts that I know of in all of Northern California, if not all of California, which is pretty crazy. I mean, you've even told me, you guys have cars, Tesla's literally coming from really all over the United States, LA, other states outside, maybe even Washington, Oregon. But the fact that you guys are even potentially starting a school is going to be really helpful for the future, because technicians that are in the auto industry today, depending on where they are in their career, are either going to, continue with gas and just end their career that way, or they need to be transitioning. Like if I'm a 25-year-old kid, I'm going to read the writing on the wall that I need to be getting into electric vehicles and potentially go to your academy, right? Because I'm not guaranteed another 30 to 40 years to be, gas repair, gas car repair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, for us, another big point, we also are in negotiation right now with the different government institutions, such DMV and other government companies. They also are looking for the options who can taking care about their EV fleet. And there is also like different makes, but of course we are right now more focusing on the Tesla repairs because our processes are more optimized for this make. But anyway, we plan to jump into the other brands and we will see how it goes. But I mean, in general, the market is just going up, and it will continue to grow. And we would like to have also, I mean, there is kind of competition, but in my opinion, the more services as our service we have would be better for the community. And the other thing is, if we are able to develop some product that give to other entrepreneurs who can help develop the same product with franchising or with any other partnership solutions, there's going to be good investment from us to the U.S. economy. So I mean, that's going to be a good thing. We're thinking that's going to be a good thing, and we can help smaller shops to jump into the EV repairs.
Yeah, education is going to be the key in adoption.
Yep.
It's kind of funny. Education is the key to adoption. Man, I need to slogan that. But yeah, what would you say? Sorry, Joe, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what are the most, common misconceptions that people have about EV repairs? Like, let's say you're at a bar, and literally like, oh yeah, I run EVs Republic. This is what we do. Do they say, oh well, how many of these Teslas you get in that have burnt, or like what are the most common misconceptions that you guys get about repairing electric vehicles? Not all at once.
Wait, I need to translate that word misconception. Give me a second.
Questions. The most
Yes.
common questions about
Misconception. Okay, I got it. In general, my favorite is it's not like a misconception, but my favorite is people says like, all these EV guys are a little bit strange. I keep my gas car as long as possible, and I want to do that, but the other thing, I don't think that's gonna work, and blah blah blah. So this is most interesting part because I always suggest people who don't accept the idea regarding the EVs jump into it as soon as possible, because right now there is many benefits, just the market position right now that helps, like all those agenda, like green agenda, all any other additional things you can get around the if you choose EV. It's going to be now it's very right time to switch to EV, or not even now, like 2012 was the best time, especially when the first Tesla came out, so you have to adopt that car. But in general, yeah, my first suggestion is to get into the EV as soon as possible, because it's gonna be it's our life. There is no changes, there is no future for the gas car, and we have to jump in today. Yeah, and of course, regarding all the myth regarding repairs, is still cheaper. It's very simple math when you count everything, including like prices. So you see, what's gonna happen in 10 years with electricity price? I don't know, but I think it's gonna rise. It's gonna rise step by step every time, and there's gonna be some point where the driving EV gonna be maybe more expensive than gas car. We don't know. It's just an idea, right? So why better don't taking the action right now? And right now, if you do the simple math, it's very profitable to drive Tesla, because you don't have to pay a lot for the maintenance. You don't have to. You can save on gas, especially when you're charging at home. So that's also things when people think that they not winning with the EV. And sometimes you have to show them all these options where they get different benefits from having EV.
So on that topic of benefits, so let's say I go out and I buy a 75D, but what I really want is the range. So I had this question because I know there's people that are going to be thinking about it, and I figure we're going to be closing it out. So you have somebody that bought like a 75D Model X, but they want it to be a 100D Model X. And I know you can't make a non-performance a performance, but you can upgrade that battery, right? So do you guys give a discount for taking back their 75D battery? Is that like a core charge, or you guys knock some of that off of the price?
Yeah, so right now we have an algorithm that we use for trade-in for a core. So if you have a 75 kilowatt and you want to upgrade to the 100, we look at capacity, we look at balance, and then we give you a discount towards your repair to upgrade to the next option or whatever option you can go to. And usually repairs like that or upgrades are pretty quick. It take about 3 days.
Wow, 3 days? That's crazy.
Sometimes it's even faster, but so sometimes I really suggest to do the upgrades in case if your battery is already like failure. If you have already failure, in this case, you can do like battery upgrade, and you can save much more money on this repair, because we still have some the algorithm for the broken batteries trade-in, and how do you, like, not broken batteries, right? Like with failure and without failure, we have different algorithm. But usually people, if they just want working battery, upgrade to the highest battery, that's going to be not super cheap service, right? That's kind of expensive move. But if you have already failure and you on the way anyway to change battery, of course the 100 kilowatt upgrade could be a great option.
Even Model 3s can be upgraded.
We can upgrade the Model 3 from standard to long range. They're not all compatible. There's certain versions that don't have the correct motor to upgrade to the long range. So we will, I mean, if a customer wants to upgrade on a Model 3 or Y from standard to long range, we would first check what kind of configuration the vehicle has to see if it is compatible. But we have done actually quite a bit of those. We've started to see some Model 3s and Ys coming in for battery failure, and it seems to be happening like right after 150,000.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty insane to think about all the stuff that really EVs Republic. I mean, you guys are at the forefront of really helping this transition happen, not only for the community but for sustainability. And it's going to take yourselves, whether it's people coming on, franchising or potentially going to your academy, to really make a difference and help this transition to happen. Because, again, a lot of times you still get a lot of people that are, either they have these misconceptions or they don't believe that, that electric vehicles are the future, or coal roll them, or, whatever, or they think it's a political agenda. But, again, all it really takes is getting into the vehicle, trying it out. And really, if you start doing some of the math and you're willing to learn, you can learn that over a 5-year period, the cost per mile is cheaper on a Model 3 than even a Toyota Corolla, which has been the benchmark for the past 2 decades of how a car should run and the reliability of it. And one question I would have, maybe to potentially close us, and then we'll end on, obviously, how can people find you, and potentially, I don't know, Ilya, if you want to give any shout outs to like what you're going to be doing down in the Bay Area now. But how do you guys see, electric vehicle repair changing over the coming years? I mean, technology is just changing fast. I mean, I know you're all caught up on the Cybertruck and stuff, but now it's steer by wire, 48 volts. Like, I mean, they're making all of these 4-wheel steering. But really, like, where do you see the future going for EV repair?
And cheaper too, I wonder, because like I remember computer repair was like hella expensive, but now it's like you can get stuff done.
TVs too.
Yeah.
4K TVs like 5,000.
Right. I mean, well, because I'm just thinking before Ilya, you answer, like I was just thinking like that drive unit that's 6,500 from freaking Tesla, that's 3,500 from you guys. I mean, that's probably going to be like 25 to 1,000 like in a few years, right? It's not going to stay at that price for those repairs. I mean, but go ahead.
I would say, for example, the green agenda and all that political stuff. So that's the world. Yeah, the world have a rules. The world have a game. The world have a moves. What we do, we just follow the rules. We just play that game, and there is no way to change that game. We just have to play that game. So, and in this case, with the more brands on the market, with the more technologies on the market, everything pushing that stuff just in the world, and there is nothing impossible. We will find a way how to figure out how to find solutions for different technologies. So every technology is made by human, even AI, so we will figure out. And I mean, we feel very, very happy, honestly, to be the part of this time that happens a lot of changes in our generation. So if you remember, guys, when we was in childhood, there wasn't even mobile phone, right? So in our life is everything: mobile phones, TV, Google, everything. Not TV, okay, like it was a little bit earlier, but anyway, like, I mean, internet and more and other technologies. And we are happy people to have the option to touch that technologies, make any kind of reverse engineering, and move forward, pushing the world. So we like it.
Well, no, thank you again. I'll let Joe also give some thoughts too on, because he's been firsthand up there. He lives closer to you guys. But thank you for all you do. Thank you for what you're going to be soon doing in the Bay Area as well. But I think it's important to have pioneers like what EVs Republic is doing to really help this transition, whether it's educating or building up the next generation of technicians. It's going to take a village to make this transition happen, and if it doesn't, then it's just going to be a slow transition, right?
Yeah.
Joe, did you have any thoughts?
No, I just wanted to thank you guys for your time. I feel like what you guys are doing, like he says, there's not very many people who are focusing on EV repair. I know Rich Rebuilds has his thing with the electrified garage and all that, and then there's you guys and the guys you mentioned in Arizona. But you know what I mean? Like as far as like full on like Jiffy Lube type repair, like you guys are it, and I like that you guys are thinking about expansion and growth. So if you could touch on that before we close out, that'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for this podcast, and thanks to your audience. Thank you everyone who watching us. That we really love the Tesla community, and EVs Republic. We are here and we are working for the community and solving more and more problems that pops up in the community.
Well, thank you both, Ilya and Vitaly. Can you tell us real quick, how can people find you? Whether it's your social handles or your website, and also your location, you should just give those call outs.
So we're located in Rancho Cordova. Our address is 2183 Bonita Drive. The best place to reach us, you can either call us at 916-907-2272, or you can email us at service@evsrepublic.com.
Yeah, guys. Also, we have, of course, social media: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That just EVs Republic, and our website evsrepublic.com. And you can come and stop by the facility. Yeah.
Awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, go into the description. We have their YouTube channel and their website tagged. If you're on X, they're tagged, their handles tagged. And then we're going to post this on Instagram, and we'll have you guys tagged there. Obviously, we're live there right now, but once we post this video, we'll make sure to tag you guys. But thank you again. Thank you to our audience for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe for more great topics like this, or for our weekly podcast. Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.